It's Saturday morning, August 31st, the year of our Lord 2024, and you're listening to the debut episode of Doing Lines. We're doing lines on a Saturday morning. We got the Big O, Leon Oliver, sitting alongside two very unwise men. A man who is down to my bottom, who probably has the worst record when this year will be over of the three of us gambling. One, Chris Green. How are you, sir?
Doing good. I've gotten my ass whooped on gambling so far this weekend.
Which is no good.
So hopefully this week, the Saturday and Sunday and Monday will bring me back to profitability. We'll see.
Yeah, my bank account isn't looking good either. A man who has gotten lucky and gotten burned, and it makes me happy when I see his text about how he's been screwed at the last minute. What's Scotty Too Hottie? How are you, sir?
Good. I actually had a good day yesterday gambling, other than Army running up the score for no reason. I had the under in that game. But I wasn't too mad because I was on the other side of that in the Rutgers game Thursday. I had a live bet on them. They scored on the last play of the game, again, for no reason. They cashed me a bet. But, yeah, yesterday I had Oklahoma that hit. I had Stanford +8 that hit. Something else, I forget. But, yeah. Oh, yeah, I've been on the Fever. They beat your Chicago Sky.
Okay, so this is a college football podcast. We're not talking about the WNBA. Speaking of things, you cannot criticize the United States Military Academy, sir. Those gentlemen can score as much as they want, except when they play Air Force. Then I root against them. But other than that, let them score as much as they want, sir, at all times.
Yeah.
All right. Yes.
Go on. I was saying they're better than North American University.
The vaunted North American University, who, if you guys don't know, Stephen F. Austin, the Lumberjacks. I forget where they are in Texas. But anyway, Stephen F. Austin, I think it's Nacogdoches, Texas, actually. Stephen F. Austin was up 70-0, I believe it was, at the half. And they decided to shorten the quarters in the third quarter to, what was it?
Five minutes a quarter.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the equivalent of the old running clock in high school football that you get when you're up 35 in Virginia, and I think it's some other places too, which, by the way, is a broadcaster's best friend. I've been on some games in high school football. You get that running clock, baby. It's like, I might get to the bar tonight at a good time after all. Let's go.
Yeah, it sounds like a fake school anyways. What is this, Coming to America? The University of the United States.
Well, you know what? I did watch a thing about Andrew Jackson yesterday, and he wanted to create a national university. Maybe it's his dream coming through years and years and years later. We don't know how many Native Americans were displaced by Andrew Jackson to create this, but that's a story for another day. All right, we're going to do some lines on Saturday morning. And to start off doing lines, when I do lines, I like to also do a little bit of bourbon as well. So it may be 9:03 in the East, but I have my little new riff here, my single barrel. And we're starting because this is week 1 of college football, baby. Let's fucking go. And I guess we'll start with you, Scotty. You are the most degenerate of the three of us here, gambling-wise. Let's go and see what's on your card. What are your 3 plays for this week, for this afternoon or whatever?
Yes, just so everybody knows, we're going to each make three bets, and then we're going to have a little underdog parlay afterwards. But my first pick, just go in chronological order here. Is Game Day there? I know McAfee's there. Well, yeah, I guess if McAfee's there, then Game Day must be there in West Virginia.
Game Day is in College Station. Big Noon Kickoff is at West Virginia, Penn State.
But McAfee's there.
McAfee was there. He has moved on to College Station as well. So it was pretty much like a come in, say hi, shake some hands, kiss some babies, get on the jet, and get the hell out of Morgantown.
Okay. Well, regardless, going to be a crazy environment at West Virginia. I know McAfee said they opened the bars there yesterday at 8 a.m., so I'm assuming they're going to do the same today. Well, sometimes with these big home environments, these early starts, kind of negates it a little bit, but I don't think that's going to be the case here. I think this is going to be a great game. Like I said, great environment. Fans are going to be crazy. Penn State's offense, I'm still last year, whenever they got in a big game, they just kind of folded. I could see that kind of happening here. First game of the season. What's Penn State's offense going to do? West Virginia, has one of the better running games in the nation, or they did last year anyways. That always helps when you're the underdog. It moved down from 8, so I don't like that it moved down. But I still like West Virginia 7.5. I will take that every day. They have a chance to win this game. Just a tough game, first game for Penn State at West Virginia. Yeah, give me the points.
You know what? I stayed away from this game because I was back and forth on this myself. I mean, look, it's a hornet's nest in Morgantown. It always is. But especially, with Pat coming back yesterday, they had Owen Schmidt and Pat White. And I don't know if Pac-Man was there or not. I was in and out of his show. But, I mean, like, lots of those guys are coming back. I mean, it's a zoo. But I think Penn State's just a better team all the way around. I do like the quarterback Garrett Green of West Virginia. He will chuck it around a little bit. And he's got some legs. He can move a little bit too. But I think Penn State's just a little bit deeper. And it's always a question of, can they win the big game? This is a chance for James Franklin and those guys to go into a hostile environment and show that they are Penn State. They are big, bad Penn State. They can win these big road games. You know what? I'm with you, though, Scotty. I think I will take West Virginia if I was betting on this, plus the 7.5. Chris, you got any thoughts on this one?
Penn State's got something to prove. They got all those new pieces that are coming into the Big Ten, Oregon, USC. They want to make sure that they're still at the top. So I think they make a statement. They win by 2 touchdowns. You're both idiots. Cash it.
There you go. All right, Scotty, your dance card.
Yeah, real quick. I think Penn State probably ends up winning, but I can see this as like West Virginia kind of jumping out early and then Penn State having to play catch up and maybe catch them in the second half. But yeah, I think it's a 1-possession game either way. But yeah, my second game here, we are going to Hawaii, UCLA at Hawaii. I am going to take the points again here. It's a 14-point spread. UCLA, whole new coaching staff. Their offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy. If I know anything about him from being in Washington, it's his offense is complicated. So I think it's going to take a while for them to get acclimated to that offense. And Hawaii, they played last week, so they got the rust off. They're at home. They were at home last week, so they just got to relax at home all week. Didn't have to travel at all. Yeah, I just think a lot of turnover UCLA coaching wise. I don't know if they're even going to be that good anyways. Going to Hawaii, 14 points is a lot. Give me the points again.
Nice. I hate to say it, but if I was betting this, I'm with you as well. Hawaii looked suspect at times last week against Delaware State. Definitely a slow start before they started to turn things on a little bit, especially in that fourth quarter. But yeah, just too many factors with so much newness with UCLA. And then you kind of have to throw out the record books when you go to, I mean, it was the first game of the season for them, but who's the favorite and whatnot, all that kind of goes out the window a little bit when you go to Hawaii, just because the trip is so far, even from LA, and everything's a little bit off kilter. And how locked in are these guys? Are they distracted by the hula girls? Who knows? But I'm taking Hawaii plus that 14 as well if I was betting on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to keep fading Leon because that's the smartest thing to do in these situations. Hawaii didn't look great last week, so why not? UCLA minus the 14.
Ooh.
All right. Well, about last week too, there was like 30-mile-per-hour winds, and if Hawaii, if their passing game is even like has any diversity or not diversity, what's the word I'm looking for here?
I don't know. There might be diversity, Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, we'll use diversity. But yeah, because they're not a running team. So if they're not able to pitch the ball around, they're going to be in trouble. And they're playing Delaware State. Maybe they were just trying to come in and not really show a lot because they weren't expecting to be in a game. But yeah, I think UCLA might look like Hawaii did last week as far as just being a little disappointing. I'm not going to rust off the Hawaii.
Hey, one last thing before you go off of this. CBS, Paramount Plus, this game is on CBS. Like CBS, like the big national network CBS. Listen, I know it's year 2 of this whole Big Ten on CBS thing, But you gotta be like having some buyer's remorse here if you're CBS and you don't have the SEC. You could have had like maybe A&M and Notre Dame or something. I don't know. You could have a big SEC game and said you got Hawaii and UCLA. I'm just saying, CBS, you dropped the ball on this one here.
Good for the team that gets to travel there, though.
Yeah.
Good for them. All right, my last pick here. This game is on Sunday night, 7:30. LSU versus USC. This game is in Las Vegas. This will be a fun one. This is kind of a blind bet for me. I am betting the over. Last year, if you remember, these two teams were all offense, no defense. Their overs were in the 70s sometimes. And it probably would be higher if it wasn't for two new quarterbacks coming in. But I think Nussmeier and Miller Moss are going to be fine. They both played in the bowl games and kind of both went off last year. I think both defenses are probably still pretty terrible. It's going to be up and down. It's going to be a fun game. 64.5 is usually a lot for. I don't think it is for these two teams. Give me the over.
I'm going to disagree with you on this one. All conventional wisdom, everything you said is correct. Everything is pointing to the over. That's why I'm going with the under. Whenever you expect like this high scoring shootout game, usually between two defenses that, put up less resistance than the French did in World War II, this is what you usually get is a game that's going under. And LSU as well is going to start using a little bit more two tight end sets. Maybe they're going to run the ball a little bit more, maybe check things down a little bit more. I see this game being like 53, 54 points. I'm going to go under, like way under here on the over-under.
All right, makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Chris?
I think if LSU's going to do anything this year, they're going to have to run the score up. Brian Kelly, overrated as fuck as a coach, but I think Lincoln Riley's going to have those guys in USC ready to go. Their quarterback, hopefully he looks a lot better than he did in that bowl game. I'm leaning.
No, he was good in the bowl game.
Yeah.
Was he? It was the game before then, maybe. But yeah, leaning the over.
Okay.
Fade
and yeah, you mentioned them maybe checking down more, but I don't think so against USC. You have wide open guys everywhere. And they need to check down.
Well, basketball on fake turf, maybe. By the way, the Cajuns making their way to Las Vegas with the amount of booze in that city and the amount of sin that you can get into in Sin City, and then you have 30,000, let's say, Cajuns coming. Lock up your daughters, lock up your houses, lock up everything, because they are going to be a marauding band of invaders with those LSU people going to Las Vegas. Las Vegas doesn't know what's coming. I'm just saying, they don't know what's coming with these LSU people in town.
I think Vegas will be just fine. They've been doing it for hundreds of years.
These Cajuns are a different breed, my friend, and I love them. I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. They're my people, and I love them. All right.
Your people.
In spirit. Going over to my dance card here, Colorado State at Texas. Over under on this one's 59.5. Longhorns laying the 34 there at Darrell K. Royal Stadium. I am actually going to take Jay Norvell and his Colorado State Aggies plus the 34 points here. The line did move. It was 32. Now it's gone to 34. The quarterback, Colorado State, was really pursued after in the offseason. Allegedly, a lot of teams came after him and stuff. He decided to stay in Fort Collins, a.k.a. Fort Fun. Listen, I like the makeup of Colorado State. I like their workman-like mentality. I like Jay Norvell. I like what they're doing. They're blue-collar. They're going to show up every day. They want to punch you in the mouth, and they're going to fight. I love what he's doing with that program. And Texas has a big one next week, and I don't think Texas wants to show too much before that next week. And I can kind of see them going through the motions maybe a little bit, especially if they get a lead and get into the second half. I don't really expect them to go out and like completely step on their neck. So I'm going to take Colorado State plus the 34 points here.
Yeah, I agree. Colorado State probably be able to put up just enough points to cover, maybe even a backdoor cover.
Yeah. Chris?
I don't know. I stayed away from this completely because I don't know what Texas is going to do. They want to come out and make a statement. Their first game as a member of the SEC. If anything, I would just take the over.
See that? I think the statement for them to make this week is win this game comfortably and get out without anyone being hurt, because they have a date in the big house next week with Michigan. And I think that's when you can really announce your presence in the SEC there. Speaking of the SEC, I feel bad for anyone involved in this game just because it's going to be hotter than the surface of the sun and the humidity as well. Miami, number 19 team in the country, laying the 2.5, going on the road to Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, taking on the Gators over under 54.5. Listen, Miami's got Cam Ward. They got some couple new coaches. They got a lot of transfers coming in. There's so much hype. There's so much optimism. There's so many expectations on Miami. And what have we seen from this program over the last 15, 20 years when there's supposed to be hype and expectations? They underperform. And Florida is on – I mean, look, they had the toughest schedule in the country. If Billy Napier can get this team to 7 games, to 7, 8 wins, probably saves his job, number one. But also he won't be, but he should be in consideration for Coach of the Year nationally if he can get 7 or 8 wins out of this schedule. It's one of those things you aren't what your record indicates. 7 wins with Florida's schedule this year is amazing. That being said, I like Florida at home, just like straight up here. I'm just taking the money line, and I actually have that. Where is it? I had it in front of me right now with the latest line because it has moved a little bit as I vamp here. Florida plus 115 at home, so it's almost a toss-up here. But I like the Gators. I think Miami just has so much newness. There's so many questions, and I think that home field environment is going to make a big difference for Florida. So I'll take the Gators to spring a little bit of an upset there.
Yeah, I was actually on Florida for a while, but I think I've flipped to Miami. You mentioned Billy Napier. He's so bad, and Florida's been disappointing for a while now. I just think Miami they don't have a great coach either. I've talked about him before, but we won't go there. But they're just too talented. They're too much more talented than Florida, I think. And with Cam Ward there, I think they're going to win and cover.
Yeah, the incompetence between the coaches cancels itself out. Miami might have a slight talent advantage, but I like Florida at home. That place is going to be a fucking zoo. And somehow Cristobal is going to find a way to make a terrible call. And I don't think Miami is – because at home you get 3 points. So I don't think Miami's 6 points better than Florida. I would take Florida in 2.5.
Okay, going with the Gators plus 2.5 there. Then lastly for me, another team making their debut in a new conference, Arizona State at home in Tempe there, laying the 7 points against Wyoming, over under 47.5 there. Late night kick here, since Hawaii's playing early for whatever reason. Late night kick here on FS1, 10:30. I like Wyoming in this one, and I actually should not have had this on my board because I had
take the spread.
Another thing earlier. So
that's fine.
I'm going to go over the 48, over 47.5 here then, because I do think it's going to be a little bit of a shootout. So Wyoming, I like Wyoming straight up. We'll talk about that a little bit more later, but I'll go over 47.5. Arizona State's beat up right now. They actually have had a pretty is injurious a word? I'm going to make it one. They have a pretty injurious camp. Lots of things going on there. Kenny Dillingham just, trying to get his feet set there with that program. Jay Sawvell taking over at Wyoming for the retiring Craig Bowl, that legend that pretty much started the dynasty at North Dakota State. There's a lot of good, and I know they've had some issues at running back with injuries there, Wyoming, but that's a hard-nosed, tough program. They lost a quarterback to the draft. I forget the guy's name this year, but he is really solid. We're in that 17, which I think might become a thing in Wyoming. You kind of honor Josh Allen if you have a really good quarterback. They're tough and they're scrappy. I think this is prime for them to go into Tempe if they can survive that desert heat and get a W.
All right. I don't hate it. no, I haven't looked at this game at all. But just looking at it, I would take Wyoming with the points.
Christian,
Yeah.
any thoughts?
If anything, I'm going to take the big conference school at home. I don't know if they're 7 points better because I don't know anything about them. And Wyoming is, like you said, solid program. I don't know. I'd probably go under.
Just whatever I say, you go the opposite way.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, one of us is going to be really good, and one of us is going to be really bad. We'll figure out which one. All right. Well, that kills the board for me there. And Chris, you are up next, sir. So I guess I'll start with your guaranteed special every week. I'll go chronological order for you here.
Yeah, death taxes, Iowa under. This is the easiest game of the week for me. There's no fucking way Iowa and Illinois State will combine for 41 points. Probably be a 22-0 shutout. Can't wait to cash this. This is my big ticket item for the week.
Do you know where Illinois State is?
Illinois.
The beautiful city of Normal, Illinois, those Redbirds. New offensive coordinator there for Iowa. They're supposed to have looked good in camp. I don't know. We'll see. It still is Iowa. I'd agree with you. I'd be on that Iowa under as well.
Are we worried about just them being too physical and just running the ball down their throat and scoring every possession?
Yeah,
like Army style?
Yeah, with the clock rules and stuff too. I think they're just going to run. The clock's going to run. I think they're just going to run out of time before they can really hit that over. And also, it's Iowa. It's going to be some inept offensive play somewhere along the way.
Yeah,
I'll probably bet it too.
The reports online about the quarterback in spring game and throughout the summer have not been great. So, ineptitude at its best, Iowa offense. I can't wait.
All right.
31-3, Iowa.
There we go. All right. Next up on your dance card here, Chris, Tarleton State at Baylor.
Oh, wow. That line has jumped quite a bit.
It did jump.
Yeah. Makes
In
my
your
pick
favor
even,
there, right?
Yeah, it makes my pick look even better. Tarleton State, I just like that they're brand new to big-time sports. Didn't they come into the NCAA D1 in basketball a couple years ago?
Yeah, the Texans are fairly new to Division I.
Baylor should squash them, but Tarleton State played last week. They won. 31 points is more than the 28 that I originally picked for Tarleton State. So I don't know. Baylor might blow them out, but I just why not? Why not Tarleton State? They got cool colors.
31's a big number. It was 28 when you originally sent this over to us. It updated to 31 this morning. Yeah, I'm with you. I'll take the Texans.
I think I might go with Baylor. Maybe not at that number anymore. I don't know what a Tarleton State is. It sounds like the school that like the kids on Saved by the Bell went to or something. Maybe that's their college.
Hey,
Where is Tarleton State?
Tarleton State. Tarleton State.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're from Stephenville, Texas.
Whatever.
The Texans, which, by the way, decent law school. Whenever I was short of a guest, when I was doing morning radio and I needed someone to talk legal issues, Tarleton State professors were always available. So they'll always have a place in my heart because I can make a phone call. Hey, listen, I know it's 5:45 Central Time for you, but could you do a spot with me tomorrow morning? Yeah, great.
So that's good. They'll have a lot of future CTE cases after this game.
All right. So then, Chris, the last one that you have here is an ATL showdown here between Georgia State and Georgia Tech. First ever meeting between these two programs.
Really? Interesting. Yeah. Well, Georgia Tech got a huge win last week. They were over in Ireland. They got to come off of that high to get ready. They're probably overlooking Georgia State Georgia State, not a terrible squad. They got a decent history. So 20.5 seems like a ton of points, especially for a Georgia Tech team. So I think that's a letdown game for them. Take Georgia State with the points.
3.9 miles is the driving distance there on I-75 and I-85 between Center Park Stadium, formerly Turner Field, home of the Georgia State Panthers, and Bobby Dodd Stadium. Bobby Dodd Stadium at historic Grant Field, home of Georgia Tech. Shortest road trip I think anyone will probably have this season. That being said, I'm going to go under on this game here. Georgia Tech is going to run the ball a lot. Georgia State had a weird spring. Their head coach, Sean Elliott, left after 2 practices this spring to join the staff at South Carolina. That tells you everything you need to know about the Panthers right now. So I think, having that emotional letdown from coming from another continent and the big win last week, I can see this being like a 27-3 kind of win for Georgia Tech. I'm going to go under.
Yeah, I kind of agree with both of you. I like the Georgia State with the points and the under. I think Georgia Tech's going to come out sluggish. But yeah, that's all I got.
There we go there. All right, so those were our 3. To recap, just to run down real quick, Scotty, you have Penn State and Wisconsin. What did you have? Penn State, West Virginia. What did you have?
West Virginia plus 7.5.
Then UCLA, Hawaii.
Hawaii plus 14.
And LSU, USC tomorrow.
Over 64.5.
Boom. Then for my card here, I have Colorado State and Texas. I got the Aggies plus the 34. Miami at Florida. I like the Gators money line. Wyoming at Arizona State. I'm going to go with the over on that game. And then, Chris, for you, you had Illinois State at Iowa.
Under 40.5.
Under 40.5. Tarleton State at Baylor.
Tarleton State plus 31.
Plus 31 for the Texans. And then the battle of the ATL that we just talked about, Georgia State and Georgia Tech.
Georgia State plus 20.5.
All right. So then this week, each week we're going to do a underdog parlay. I'm not going to use hungry dog parlay because I don't want to get sued by Barstool and Hank. But yes, our underdog parlay. Who is your dog? Chris, I'll start with you.
I'm going with Notre Dame at Texas A&M. I have no reason why, other than Texas A&M fans suck. So go Notre Dame.
You don't believe in the Mike Elko experience in College Station. And Scotty, your dog this week?
I trashed this team last week, and they hurt me. Nevada at Troy. Nevada looked a lot better than I thought they would. They have a quarterback with a pulse that can run around a little bit and make some plays. They had a lot of transfers come in. And Troy, they're in the Sun Belt. They lost a lot of players, most of their receivers. They lost Kamani Vidal, who got drafted by the Chargers, their star running back. The only good thing about them is they have a quarterback whose name is Goose, so that's pretty cool. But other than that, I think Nevada has a good chance to win this game. That's my pick.
All right. And then lastly, I already kind of tipped my hat toward this one. Arizona State at Wyoming. I like the Cowboys here in an upset. Really like Jay Salvell. Long-time member of that staff there under Craig Bowl. I like Wyoming's program. They're tough. So let's put these things together here. Notre Dame plus 130. Nevada plus 260. Wyoming plus 230. All these on ESPN Bet right now. Odds coming in at 41.77. Somebody better than math tells me what $10 pays.
$417.
Yep.
There we go. So $10 there. And then you can put it on there, and your old friends from the Let's Not Do This podcast can make you some money. Though I think that Chris may be the weak link on this particular parlay here.
We'll see.
With the best odds. It's crazy. I have the longest odds. Usually I have the shortest.
Yeah. One last thing before we get out of here, Scotty, you kind of mentioned this. I didn't mention to you guys in the super secret pre-show meeting, but you did mention names. As we go into week one, FanDuel did put this list together of the all-name team in college football. Anything that stands out to you guys? There's two lists. So this is the first team, all-name team. Anything that stands out from this list for you guys? I'll start. We saw him last night in the Michigan State game, the long snapper, Jack Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is actually his last name.
Gotta get that changed, man.
It's
pretty awesome.
I like all of the defensive backs.
Pig Cage is great. Which, how is he not an Arkansas Razorback? I don't know. He should have been. Like,
dude person.
Yeah.
Curious Hoskins and Midnight Stewart.
The linebacker from Duke, memorable factor. Another key thing for him, he is from London. So you got a guy from London playing linebacker at Duke named memorable factor.
That's
all right. The D lineman from SEMO. What are we doing with that first name?
Kobe? No.
From SEMO.
D lineman. Oh, Servant Council. Hey, look.
What are you doing?
Look. It is Missouri, okay? SEMO, Southeast Missouri State. We all remember.
Are you sure it's not pronounced Servant?
It probably is pronounced Servant, but still.
Hey, listen, we all remember the Missouri Compromise. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. We know how they were admitted to the Union. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. And then on the second team, all name teams, your boy Goose.
Oh, there he is.
Quarterback in that all name team. Any running back named Turbo, I'm really excited about. Turbo Richard, or it could be Richard, I'm not sure, at Boston College. I do like that. And I do like Guzzy K or whatever at St. Francis. A guy named Guzzy sounds like he could drink a lot of beers, and he's an offensive lineman. So
Sir Kanye, like that. And DIC. DIC Hopkins.
I like DIC, yeah.
DIC Hopkins, which you'll see, he's a member of your Georgia State Panthers, Chris, as they take on Georgia Tech. So
let's go.
And is this Elon, the D lineman for Colgate? Is that Elon's kid? K2?
Oh, boo. Boo.
These lists are missing the best name number combination in football right now. Parker Titsworth, number 69 for the Ohio Bobcats.
Yes, Parker Titsworth. How can they forget about him? I guess, he's been on this list for years, so maybe they just gave him a emeritus position, maybe. I'm not sure, maybe. But yeah. I do like Mr. Clark, the DB at FIU. Mr. Clark teaming up with Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide. So I do like that. And I don't know if I want a DB called Lumpy there, Lumpy DeWeese at Stetson. I don't know if I want.
If he's a safety.
If he's a safety, he's leaving lumps. I like it.
So, all right, there we go. That's doing lines.
Hey, real quick, I'm surprised nobody had the Georgia Clemson game. What do we think about that?
Thank you.
I didn't want anything to do with it. I think the under. Two great defenses. Who knows what Clemson's offense looks like. Georgia probably wins by 2 touchdowns, but I don't think it's going to be high scoring.
Yeah, the line keeps dropping. Was that
right? Right now it's 11.5. Yeah, on ESPN Bet and over under 48.5. Georgia minus 500 money line right now. That might be worth the sprinkle for a Clemson money line, just given the odds. The Tigers are at plus 380. If I can get Clemson there, but I don't know, Scotty, your thoughts.
Well, when the lines first came out, I was like, Clemson plus 14 is a good bet. But now that it's down to 11.5, I might jump on Georgia. And then the total's weird. I don't know. Clemson has a very good defense, so you could see this being like a 2014 game or whatever. But I don't know. Sometimes when you think somebody's going to match over Georgia, they just come out and roll. And I think that is what happened here. We might see like a 31-14 type of game or something. So the total I'm staying away from. that could go either way. I think I'm going to jump on the Georgia minus 11.5.
If Clemson has any chance whatsoever in this game, it comes down to Cade Klubnik. I mean, they just have to be able to throw the football. The wide receiving core is better, but nowhere near what we've seen in past years with T. Higgins and DeAndre Hopkins, guys like that have come through that program over the years. Phil Mafah is going to probably get a heavy load. Running the football. They're going to have to win the line of scrimmage, run the ball, and Klubnik's going to have to make his throws.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if they can do that. I did like it when it was 12, 13, 14 when it first opened up. But now that, it's money's coming in on Clemson and it's moving down to 11.5, I think Georgia probably wins this game in that 12 to 13 point realm. Maybe Clemson gets a late touchdown, maybe even a late defensive touchdown possibly to backdoor this thing. So I would take Georgia minus the 11.5.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
But I might sprinkle a unit or two there on Clemson money line just because something about Dabo.
Unit?
Not a unit, half unit maybe.
That's what sprinkling means. Less than a unit.
Yeah, sprinkling is not a unit. That's a Leon sprinkle.
Yeah, hey, that's a Leon sprinkle. You don't become the big bear without getting some big sprinkles, all right? So, yeah, I might do a Leon sprinkle on that one there just because, look, say what you will about Dabo. If I can get him at plus 380 in a big game, I'm going to probably toss a little bit on it just to see. It's week one. Money's not an option right now. Let's figure it out.
Oh, all right. Well, let me borrow.
You're lucky. I don't have any of my drops on here.
Yeah, I know.
I would have been using them. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for Doing Lines this week, week one. Make sure to check us out on the Let's Not Do This podcast Thursday, right here on this very same platform that you're watching us on right now. We'll be live 6:45, catching up on what happened in week one, previewing the NFL, going into college football, and then we'll be right back here next Saturday, 9 a.m., Doing Lines, where we'll be talking about college football week 2 and also getting you ready for the first Sunday of NFL action. For these two dumb dicks, dumb dicks are over here. For these two dumb dicks, I'm the Big O. Peace.